All right, welcome to episode 14 of Stream Roulette. I'm Daniel Towns here with Steph Broadridge.
Hello.
And this week we watched
Bullshit, the game show.
And we're about to find out what we thought.
Yes.
Let's go. Welcome back to Stream Roulette. Daniel Towns with Steph. How are you, Steph?
I'm very well. How are you?
I'm good. I feel bad, though, because I already know how you are because we had a gig together this morning.
I know.
Who has a gig in the morning?
We were done before midday.
We were. And it feels like it was that audience's bedtime. We had a gig for a bunch of seniors.
Yep. Hornsby seniors.
Hornsby seniors. What do you think the minimum age was? Or what do you have to be a senior? Is it 55 or 60 or 65?
I think it's 55.
55.
But I also don't think there was anyone under 70 in that room.
No. Well, a 55-year-old would still be at work.
True. Yeah.
What's the retirement age now? 65?
Yeah, at least.
That's almost really rude calling someone a senior at 55. I'm nearly a senior. Just over a decade away from getting a senior's card. I haven't even started my life yet.
Oh, that's so depressing.
Isn't it? Well, you look at it like that. It's like I did one of these podcasts my podcast with Carl Donnelly from the UK.
Yeah.
And it's like, I was like, I think the last time I saw you was in Edinburgh. And wow, that was almost a decade ago. And it's like, how quick does, when you're talking in decades.
Yeah.
It's not like, that was a few years ago. It's like, that was a long time ago. I want to see what a senior is in.
Oh, yeah.
Senior.
These guys were quite nice.
They were very nice. I don't mind.
There was tea and coffee and food.
Did you have a tea?
I had a tea.
What flavour? It wasn't a bad mix either.
It was good. I had English breakfast with some milk.
They had all those flavours and you stuck with the classic.
Yeah, I like English breakfast.
That's fair enough. I had a peppermint. I was intrigued by there was an apple pie something.
Tea?
Yeah.
An apple pie tea.
But I wasn't sure about the something. I don't know what it was.
Oh, no.
Because I have had apple pie tea and spiced apple tea. It's really good.
Yeah?
It's really good. Like apple and cinnamon. Yeah, it's really nice. Big fan of herbal teas.
You are?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I used to drink English breakfast all the time, but then I tried to cut down my milk consumption.
Yeah, right.
And started on the herbals kind of thing. And I quite like peppermint, honey ginger.
English breakfast tea with like a digestive biscuit.
Yeah, fair enough. I quite like that in a motel or a motoring. With their little 15 mils of UHT milk.
That's the best. Honestly, I still like the amount of motels I've stayed in recently, and I still get excited when they have those little biscuits on the pillow.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so upset if they don't have them.
Well, it sucks when they don't, because they are good biscuits. It's usually like
They're not
what are they?
Good biscuits.
No, they're
like stale.
It's the butter one, the nut butter, not nut butter, but
Scotch fingers.
Yeah, there's a Scotch finger and the orangey. I like them.
Yeah?
Yeah, they're crumbly. I eat them as soon as I get into a motel room.
Same.
It's the first thing I do. I had a gig with Al Del Betty on the road a couple of months ago, and we got in there, and as soon as we got there, I got my biscuits, and I'm like, all right, those two are yours. Let's see how long you can make it. It didn't last that long. It's because there's nothing else to do in the rooms, though. You walk in, you go, what is there to do? All right, I'll eat 2 biscuits and have a tea.
Oh, it's so sad.
I travel with my own tea bags in my suitcase.
Do you?
Yeah. I'm like, and I usually get milk if I'm there.
That should be assumed, though.
What? Milk?
That there'll be milk and tea.
Yeah, well, don't.
Really?
Oh, yeah, always. Or you'll get there and there's tea bags but no milk. Or all that kind of stuff. And I just got sick of, being in those situations. So I just travel with all those things. It's so good, even on a plane.
Yeah,
when they walk around and they go, would you like something? And I'm like, just some hot water, please.
Do they charge you for hot water?
No, but you just don't. It's good, too, because then you do it on your time.
Yeah.
Instead of waiting for them to get to you with the card, I just walk up the back and go, can I have some hot water in my cup? And then they fill me up and off I go.
Wow, you really are a senior.
I used to take my pillow on the road.
Nice.
I remember once Felicity Ward was on a road show. They were all making fun of me for taking my pillow.
That's smart, though.
And then other people started doing it. I was like, oh, there you go.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even for the plane. It was more for the 6 months in England. So my bed could feel a little bit like home.
Yeah. But a pillow makes such a difference.
It makes a massive difference.
Yeah.
So does bedding. So does your bed. If you're on an uncomfortable bed, the really springy ones when you get in and you kind of just bend in the middle.
No.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So a senior's gig.
Yes. We were ready. Clearly we had a lot to talk about.
We did. That was good fun.
It wasn't
And
terrible.
You've been sick as well.
I know. I'm sorry if I cough.
So this is the tightest turnaround we have given ourselves between episodes. We're on less than 24 hours.
I know.
To get this done, but that's
We'll
all right.
get it done.
Yeah, we live under pressure. So let's go. What was it called?
Bullshit, the game show.
What was the thingamajiggy? What's the point of it?
Well, basically, the synopsis is throughout the game, players will work their way up a money ladder either by answering questions correctly or by confidently giving incorrect answers and persuading others that they are accurate. And it's hosted by Howie Mandel.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the show.
How many did you watch?
I watched 2 3/4.
Okay, you did more than me. I did 2.
Yeah?
And the third one started, and I just thought, I can't watch any more of this.
Yeah.
Like, it's not.
You didn't like it?
It's not good.
It's really not good.
Like, it's not good at all. It's another Netflix original. Like, I get that they're trying to move into the game show market to compete with all the free-to-air shit, but there's a part of me that thinks, why are you moving into that trashy, cheap market to get the 5 o'clock I'm cooking dinner crowd? And, like, you know. It's
the
like,
format doesn't work over that kind of...
well, it's a streaming thing. No one wants to binge watch a show that doesn't have a narrative. And then once you get into the actual part of the game, like, it sounds interesting. Like, when it came up, it interests me.
It's a fun concept.
I've played a game like that where you have to lie and the audience has to pick. And it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Because you can...
And I think they're having fun playing it. I just don't think it's fun to watch.
And I just think that some of the... like, you could spot their tells through the...
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If they didn't know the answer. Like, there was one girl, she was really pulling apart this guy's answers, and she's like, see, when you did this happened, and that your face did this.
Yeah.
And she was pretty much right most of the time.
Yeah.
And it's like, I felt like they weren't good enough lies, or they didn't have enough time, or the camera work wasn't good enough that at home you could kind of figure out they were lying before.
Yeah, it reminded me of, that, what's that British one they do?
What? Oh, I know the one you mean with
Rob Brydon, Would I Lie to You?
Yeah.
It reminded me of that show.
Okay.
Except instead of having professional comedians tell lies,
Yeah.
it was just everyday people.
Yeah, without a background and performance.
Yeah, and they didn't. I don't know. To be honest, the first episode, I was like, this is the worst show I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was bad. Like,
unwatchable bad. Like, I was really angry that I had to watch a second. I almost considered not watching a second episode. And then I watched the second episode. I'm like, okay, this is watchable now. I think it was just that first contestant. He was so unlikable.
He really was, wasn't he?
He was making me anxious.
He was the one that was he doing this with his hands?
Yeah,
No, this one, wasn't it? It was the temple with his hands. Like, he's really intelligent.
And he talked over the top. Like, he was like way over the top with his tell us about yourself. He hadn't even asked him yet. He's already got into his spiel that he memorized. Like, wow, it was so uncomfortable. It just reminded me of every open mic I've ever been at, that guy. And I'm like, I can't sit through this. But once he got out, it wasn't too bad.
See, so it did pick up?
Well, just because it only works if the people are charismatic enough.
Yeah. And, I mean, they all had their personality.
Yeah, and they weren't too bad after you got rid of the first guy. But why they chose him for the first episode is beyond me.
And, I mean, the money goes up to... I found it interesting because they can, what was it? It was 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, 25, 50. And then from 50 it went 75,
yeah,
100, 250, 500,000, a million.
Yeah.
So it takes you 5 goes just to get up to 100,000.
Yeah.
And then another... To get 10 times that to a million. So the first half of the game is harder than not harder, but to get through to even get to 100 grand, you've got to do, there's such small jumps.
Yeah.
Like, if they all jumped, look how much they're jumping in the second half, from 100 to 150,000.
But after 5 goes, they know your tells.
That's true.
Yeah.
I honestly can't see anyone getting to the end. You'd have to be an absolute sociopath.
I know for a fact. I don't know if you can
fuck it. Who cares? It's a piece of shit. If you watch this, I judge you.
Someone did get $1 million.
Someone got it.
Yeah.
You read up on it.
Yeah, I did.
Oh my God, which one?
I don't know.
I mean, good on him, I guess.
Yeah. But also, I didn't care.
There's nothing wrong with being a good thing on a bad show.
Yeah, I just didn't care if someone won.
Oh, yeah, there's no investment. And that's what I find so weird about it, because this is
Yeah. The other thing I was interested in was just because of the amounts of money that we were talking about. I was like, that is quite a lot of money for a game show.
Yeah.
But also, like, the host, I didn't really know him that well. I think he's more of I know he's Canadian, but I think he's more of like an American
Yeah,
thing.
I think he does a bit of stuff.
He was on like Americans Got Talent and stuff like that. So he gets $75,000 an episode.
An episode?
Yeah.
Just for standing? For fuck's sake.
And the minimum episode you can be on to be a panelist is 2.
So that's why these shows keep
So
getting...
for every panelist on, he makes $150,000.
Because $1,000. Like, even if you knew it was a piece of shit and you had no money and no career left.
Yeah.
And someone went, hey, do you want $75,000 a day to...
It's not even a day because they do more than one in a day.
Oh, right. So for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's $75,000 an episode.
So this is in 2019, Netflix sold or issued rather $2.2 billion worth of junk bonds. Do you know what they are?
No.
They're like the riskiest one of the riskiest investments you could put out.
Yeah.
And like they did it. Fuck, I mean, Andrew Wolf would be a good person to do this. It's a massive risk. Like, people can snap them up really cheap, I think, but there's a massive risk on it. And, like, it's usually a desperation move.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they did it to get money together to fund a lot of new content and all this stuff. It was when all the competitors were coming, like Disney and all that kind of stuff, as they were launching.
Right.
So Netflix scrambled and put out all these junk bonds to raise $2.2 billion or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And it's great to see that this is what
they came up with.
This is what they invested it in, a fucking stupid game show with terrible production value.
But the part that I thought was really funny was like when he's getting excited for this person who's like, you just won $75,000 just for being on a game show. And I'm like, dude, that's your everyday.
Yeah. You just got that from that one contestant. Yeah. Junk bonds are risky investment that have higher rates of default but offer significantly higher returns.
That sounds really dodgy.
Yeah, like it's something. It's like it's a high risk move. You could make a lot, but you could also lose it all. But that's what they did it.
Oh well, I mean, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was initially.
No, but I just feel like I mean, part of me when I was watching that show, it took me a while to realise that it was a game show and not a reality TV show.
Yeah, totally. I know exactly what you mean.
Like, it felt like there was a bit of a crossover because it almost wasn't game showy enough. Or they all had, like, the dude with his story or whatever, and they were trying to make it like...
Yeah.
And it's like, no, just play the game. And maybe it does get better.
Yeah.
Like, maybe it does...
Play the game or
be
do
a reality
something
show.
worse to them.
Yeah, because like having them on there trying to lie, that's not entertaining. I was thinking about this morning, and I think for reality TV to work for me, it has to be like massively, like it has to be an emotional one.
Yes.
Like that Ultimatum that we watched, because you just got a
Yes.
bunch of people whose hearts and feelings and all that are getting caught up in all this shit. So there's a real emotional investment.
Yes.
Or just...
Funny.
Yeah, funny-ish, or your Big Brother type-ish, where you chuck a bunch of wannabe attention seekers into a house and put the camera on them, and you just get to watch all the showboating and the showing off. Like, that's interesting to me, but all the cooking ones and all those other things, I don't feel like the stakes are high enough, or the people aren't deluded enough, and they have an actual talent that it doesn't interest me as much. Like, I want to see a train wreck on reality TV.
Same. Yeah, extremes. This isn't extreme enough on either scale.
Or I want the story. Or I want the... Umit's story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Came as a refugee, did all this, and then succeeds. Like, that's a good thing for a reality. But just having a bunch of people trying to lie that they could have got off the street.
Yeah, they didn't even bother telling us why they needed the money, which is a classic trope in the game shows.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? What are you going to use the money for?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll probably buy a new house.
Yeah, my fiance and I.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, right.
Ever since I was a little girl, like, where was all that shit?
And I just don't like the way some of the characters these characters, the way some of the people are sometimes on these reality shows, like, they all know what the...
They're so TV ready, Americans. It's
Yeah,
terrifying.
they get their little 15 minutes at the end and they kind of know that.
Yeah.
I feel like. And then, like, so the way they are, there was one of them, Amanda's watching someone, it's called The Circle.
Oh, I've heard of that.
And it's in the 4th season. I said to her last night, I said, how many seasons has this had? And she's like, I think this is the 4th one. And she hasn't seen them all, but it's Big Brother-esque. They're all in a hotel somewhere.
Yeah.
And they've got this computer like Big Brother that tells them things. And the Spice Girls are in there pretending to be someone.
Okay.
Like, they're all meeting and setting up with people, I think. But all they know about each other is the stuff that you choose to put out there. And they can be themselves. Or, like, one of them is pretending to be their dad.
Oh, that's
like, it's a bit weird, but it is. It's massively weird, but they're all those people, like craving attention type of people. So if it's got those ingredients.
Yeah.
So like there's one girl that she's just, I think she went in the first episode and she was just talking about giving people what they want and getting her tits out and all this. And she was the one that was pretending to be a dad. And everyone just saw straight through her lies. And she was just gone so quickly. She thought she had it all figured out.
Oh, no.
Have you watched anything good then, if you didn't enjoy this?
I mean, no, I didn't not enjoy it. Again, I really hated the first episode, and then I did feel like it found its feet.
Yeah.
So I didn't think it was that bad. I thought it was okay.
Okay.
But I did learn from this that I actually hate game shows. I don't think I like game shows.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever thought about that much.
Yeah,
Like,
because
I've
I
never
used to watch
watched
them heaps when I was a kid, but then I realized that's because that was all that was on.
And they were on, probably.
Yeah. But as soon as I'm given an option to watch literally anything else, I will watch literally anything else. The other thing I found that was really inexcusable about this show was that it was a game show that had like a cliffhanger at the end. So they didn't tell you, there was no clear winner at the end of the episode.
Oh, because they moved it on, yeah.
Yeah, to move on to next week. And I'm like, I'm like, that is not a big enough cliffhanger to sustain me.
That's not even an ad break,
week.
mate.
Like, yeah.
That's not even a commercial break.
Fine. Maybe 4 minutes, I'll give you 4 minutes. But an entire week?
Yeah, right.
Let's see if this person you have no interest in will win $50,000. And I'm like, I don't care.
What, did you find anything else out about the contestants?
I didn't. I couldn't find anything. They all had photos, though, in the IMDb profiles, which was interesting.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they've gone in and added them themselves or...
Yeah, I don't know. I had a feeling that the one that was the teacher in episode 2 or episode 3, he seemed like he might have been a comedian just based on some of his responses. Okay. He was quite quick.
Do you remember the game show It's a Knockout?
I know their name, but I don't remember why.
It was a big, stupid one, kind of like Gladiator, but with like normal people in it.
Yeah.
So there was like the big pool that you had to run and jump over and all the floating things.
Yes.
Like it was a game show, but it was a big one. And I remember once when I was a kid, we went to the live filming of it. I don't even know where it was. It was just this wild, but that was more fun and carnage, you know, people hitting each other with rubber inflatable bats and...
That'd be good.
Like that was more fun as a child.
But that's like a spectacle. That's something to watch.
Yeah, it was colour and light and movement. And yeah, it wasn't just someone spinning a wheel and answering a question or trying to lie.
Exactly.
Yeah, I just feel like that one and like, is it cake? It's like, are they really stripping down the production value on the ones that don't require much production because they're reality and aren't scripted? Or like, does all the money go into the bigger ones, like into the Ozarks? But is Ozark Netflix? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, does like all the money go there so they don't have to, like, I don't know.
This does seem like it would be quick. I don't know if it would be cheap, but it would be quick to produce.
Oh, massively. Ask a couple of questions. It's probably run by the person that does the weekly trivia.
Yeah.
You know, coming up.
I did look up the other two, the creators, just to see what else they'd worked on.
Yeah.
But there was nothing interesting. It was just like other game shows.
Yeah, right.
So.
Do you think you could come up with a game show?
I reckon I could, but I don't think it would be good.
Or a game, something that has that. Congratulations, you've just played upstairs, downstairs.
Yeah.
You've seen The Office, haven't you?
Yeah. I reckon I could. I could come up with a board game or something. I reckon I've tried that.
I had this conversation with Tommy Deed because he's big on games.
Yeah.
And then we started talking about the X Factor thing that those games have that pushes them through and makes them become like mass.
Yeah.
You know, get into the mass mainstream. Like, you know, that Among Us that did really well in the first lockdown?
I worked in childcare.
Well, apparently that started as a board game.
Ah, right.
Yeah, I had no idea. Like, Tommy was, because he knows, and I mentioned a game, and he's like, oh, yeah, that's this genre. And I'm like, oh, yeah, of course there's genres. Of course there's genres in board games.
Oh, yeah, people get really extreme into board game stuff.
Yeah. Oh, I said to him, like, I used to always play, I didn't, with Jen and Heggy. Heggy had come over and he'd whip out bananagrams, and I played once, and when it was like all I contributed was the and all the 3-letter words. It's like, all right, you two play. I'm just going to sit to the side here.
Yeah, right. No, I like board games, but only like as a kid. I haven't played adult.
I had a great time
games.
on one road show. We played a game called The Resistance.
What's that?
It's so there's I think you need obviously I think you need a certain amount of players, and 2 people on the team are spies.
Yeah.
And everyone else is the resistance, and only the spies know who the spies are.
Yeah.
And at the start, it's like, all right, everyone closes their eyes, and it's like, if you're a spy, open your eyes.
Yeah.
So you know, and then you're basically trying to get other people to accuse other people of being the spy, and it's just one of those games where you turn people on each other. Like, if I was telling the truth, why would I have said Steph did that? Like, why would I? Oh, you did that because you want us to think that. And like, it got to the point we were together on tour for a month.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, like, it was like, we can't play that game.
None of you were speaking to
Like,
each
it just
other?
got so tense. Like, all the yelling and stuff. It just got, like, we were playing it after, play it after a show. People were getting the shit. So then it's like, all right, this stays away for a while. I think Tommy introduced that one. Like, he played it on one of their legs, and then someone else went and bought it. Ronnie got it, I think.
I think
Ronnie
I
brought
played
it on
it.
ours.
Is it also called Mafia?
I think there's a bunch of games that have a similar.
Yeah.
Because when I said it to Tommy, he's like, oh, yeah, that's like, that was
Yeah.
the one he genred. He goes,
Yeah.
oh, that's like such.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, those things. Yeah, I like anything like that. You know, there's a way to, apparently, I don't know how true this is, but I read it on the internet, so it must be true.
Yeah.
There is a surefire way to not lose at Monopoly,
Really?
and that's never upgrade to hotels, because there's only so many houses in the box, and if you have them all, the other players can't get them, and they need the houses to get hotels. So,
Wow.
So everything you land on, you know, buy as much as you can and put houses on as much as you can, even if it's just 1 or 2, just to get them out of the box.
I think that's what my sister was doing.
Yeah.
Because she beat me at every single game of Monopoly my entire childhood.
Really?
Yeah.
I never told you.
I genuinely think that's what she was doing.
Because most people, well, I always upgraded to hotels because you're like, oh, more money. I'll send
Yeah.
you broke quicker.
Yeah.
Same.
Same.
But it's probably more entertaining to be winning and watching someone just bleed their money out slowly.
Yes.
$60 on this one property. on
The
this
games
one
went for
property
like
square.
4 hours.
Oh, they're so long. Have you played the card version of Monopoly?
No.
I don't know how we've ended up on board games from this. Oh, quiz show.
Quiz show, game show, board game. Sort of makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, they're fun. I do like it. The quick one, it's good. The card one is really quick.
I've seen it.
Hasbro sponsored a bunch of stuff on one of the cruise lines.
Oh, so you had a
heap
bunch
of
of
the
them.
game show, like just the card ones.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's quick. Like, you can knock off a game in 10, 15 minutes, and
Yeah.
it's fast paced. And it's like, all right, this is what it should be. Like these kind of games should be, unless you're playing a strategy game.
Yeah, but also I feel like the whole point of board games is to kill time.
Yeah, but who's got 4 hours to kill?
Or families in the 90s during a blackout.
Yeah, and camping. But when's that now?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Which is
true.
why they don't make a lot of money anymore.
What would be your favourite board game?
I like Scrabble.
Really? You're another word one.
Yep.
I don't think I've ever played that. I'd love to know how to play chess.
Yeah, I can't play either.
I've tried to teach myself a few times. Like, I've had a few apps and whatnot.
Yeah.
And, the king stays the king. I know all that stuff.
Yeah, I know the basics.
But yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Tom Cashman's really good,
Oh, really?
apparently.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Like he plays a lot on his phone.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
It's good. I like it for the puzzle, the muscle, like the...
Problem solving.
That's it.
Yeah. I do cryptic crosswords for that same
Oh,
reason.
really?
Yeah. Cryptic crosswords are pretty much just like joke writing. It's exactly the same.
I
But
thought-
someone's put the pieces in and you just have to fill in the answer.
I play puzzle games.
What's puzzle game?
I play games with puzzles in them.
On the X.
On my Nintendo, yeah.
Nintendo.
Just, so they're puzzles. They're still puzzles.
Oh, yeah. That's still work. You're working.
Still require thought.
That's tax deductible.
Oh, and there's some things that I won't play at night.
Oh, yeah, because they
Like-
keep you awake.
I don't want to think that much. I
Yeah,
just want to
yeah,
press some
yeah.
buttons.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to think about what happens 5 moves from now. Like if I do this now, like I've got 5 hours on a plane.
Yeah,
And
totally.
I really get sucked into that. But yeah, it's short puzzles and strategy stuff.
Yeah, I love that stuff as well. All right, I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
How much would you have to be paid per episode to host a game show?
To host a game.
What's your
show.
number?
What's my number?
What's your minimum?
Well, it depends. When are you asking me right now, or when I'm?
I'm asking you, if someone called you today and was like, we have this game show, you're going to hate it. It's called Bullshit. We're doing Bullshit, the Australian version,
Yeah.
right? So it's going to be exactly the same, but we're going to get Australians to do it.
Yeah.
How much?
Well, okay. Let's just assume that they'd get Rove or Larry Emder.
Okay. Rove, Larry, Steve Vizard, none of these guys are available.
No, but let's say their price would be what a year? Like what?
I have no idea.
$1 million?
I don't
know. Or is
know.
that radio money? No, let's put it at that. We know that kind of money's out there.
Yep.
Okay.
So you're factoring that in?
I'm taking what would it take? I'd do it for a lot less than that.
Yeah.
I'd do it.
You're holding out for $75,000 an episode?
No, it wouldn't be that much. But I'll tell you what, like 10 years ago, I would have probably said, you know what, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Because it has nothing to do with comedy. But now,
Yeah.
and it still has nothing to do with comedy.
No.
But if someone wanted to give me that much money to stand there and ask stupid questions,
Yeah.
I could show up and be professional and do it.
Yeah.
It's like when other people have said it about radio that had no interest in getting in radio. It's like, I never wanted to do radio. And then you see 6 figures and it's like, fuck it, I'll do it.
Yeah.
It's like, I can be professional. Like, it's not my goal. I'm not going to work towards hosting a game show.
My number's $400.
Yeah. Oh, no, mine was like 10 grand. I'm like, how can I make this? Nah, that's a lot of work. The warm-up person would be getting paid more than you.
I know. But I think they should be. It's a harder job.
That's true. Like, look, it's definitely, the money that the people earn for doing that job doesn't represent how hard the job is.
True.
Like, there's no way that guy should be getting $75,000 an episode for asking a few questions.
Well, no, but then it's that same thing of like, I'll watch it because it's got legitimacy because Howie Mandel's got a face on it.
And that's why networks pay for people that have that face.
And he is really good.
Yeah, no, he is. He's good at what he does. I mean, part of it, when we chucked it on him, I said, Howie Mandel, it can't be that bad.
Yeah, same.
And then at the end, she was like, oh,
no, it is that bad, yeah. But he's very funny with them, and he's exactly the right amount of funny.
No, he does. Look, he does a good job.
Like that right amount of roasty where it's like still friendly and sweet, and he would have killed at this seniors gig.
I think the best we've come to, or the hosting, actually not the best, but I will say the hosting style that I like the most is probably outside of McAuliffe would be Gleason on Hard Quiz.
Yes.
Like, because he's not trying to be their friend.
No, he's brutal.
He is. But they also know that that's what it is.
Yeah.
And it kind of feels like they're going in to get roasted a little bit.
Totally.
Because, like, you know that Tom, you know he's not a bad guy. Like, he doesn't come across as a bad guy. He's just a smart ass throwing out some cheeky, smart lines.
Yeah.
And then kind of, and it's, it's a status thing. But yeah, I really like how he does it and how he gets away with it. Yeah, he's really good at it. He's really good at it. And it's not being all like he's matey, but he's like, hey, I'm your mate. Zing,
Yeah.
Merrick's really good at that too.
Really?
Merrick Watts. He's very, like, I did a podcast with him a couple of years ago and I was like, oh, fuck, that's 4-0. I got to keep up here. Like, he was just like, but just burning me left, right, and centre. And it's like, oh, hang on, this is usually my game. All right, I got to get my head into this.
It's funny, isn't it? Because, like, I think when you're not a comedian and you watch people like that on TV and in radio and stuff and you go, they're not that funny. And then when you see it after you've been doing comedy for a while, you're like, oh, they're incredible. Like, how do they do that? Like, it just opens your eyes to the actual skills required to have a job like that and be successful and be really good at it.
Oh, and just doing radio. Like, and just being able to be on, like, just,
for hours.
And everything that's going on in your life. Like, you know how hard it is to do a gig if you get bad news. Imagine having to be on professionally for a nationally syndicated radio station.
Whoa.
And you can't say piss and shit, and you can't say, like...
You can't just do your angry set.
Yeah, you can't. I'm not feeling it tonight, so I'm just going to do my set that pushes them all away.
Yeah, no.
You got to get up there and be, likeable. And I mean, I guess that's what they're paid for.
That's exactly right. That's what you make the money for.
But speaking of absolutely nothing, do you know what I did watch?
Thanks so much for listening to the episode, guys. We'd love to know what you think of the TV shows that we're reviewing, so you can hit us up on any of the social media platforms. It's Stream Roulette Podcast. We're on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
And feel free to let us know what you think of our show too. Like, don't just hold back on the TV shows. And if you really like the show, we've also got a Patreon where we're putting out 2 bonus episodes a month. And it's in the same lane, but it's called Guilty Pleasures. So instead of letting them choose, Steph will choose a show that she loves secretly that I haven't seen, and vice versa. And we have to subject the other one to watch that. So if that seems like something you'd be into, check out the Patreon. That's just Stream Roulette over on the old Patreon website. And
don't you have a podcast coming up?
I do, actually. I'm bringing mine back out. That's the Daniel Towns podcast. So thank you for letting me throw that in there. And also, if you are enjoying this Stream Roulette podcast with myself and Steph, please feel free to leave us a review on iTunes, because that's how these things grow and climb, and that's what we're here for. But anyway, this is enough of this. Let's get back to the episode, shall we?
Done.
Speaking of absolutely nothing, do you know what I did watch?
What?
That I managed to rip through this in 2 nights. I saw an ad for it, or an article about it. It's called The Pentaveret.
The what?
The Pentaveret.
What is it?
It's a Mike Myers comedy series.
Yeah.
It's only 6 episodes on Netflix that range from, I think, 30 to 40 minutes or 25 to 40 minutes.
Good?
No, look,
That was quite a pause.
it's funny.
Yeah?
It's really funny. But
Yeah.
if you think there has been any evolution to Mike Myers' comedy in the last 20 years, like since the last, like,
Yep.
honestly, like even the way it was edited, part of me felt like I was watching Austin Powers.
Right.
Like it had that old, like the old style where they'd bring in all the different, like the boxes with the character in each box, and like it kind of had all that stuff. And he plays a lot of the characters. I think there's 7 or 8 of them that he plays.
Right.
It's very Mike Myers. Like put it this way, there's one thing he's trying, whatever. I'm not going to ruin the plot, but they're trying to do something, and they got to get somewhere. And I'll paraphrase the dialogue, but this is the point for the punchline. He's gone, oh yeah, we'll go. I got a friend there. He's really tall, Richard. We call him Big Dick. He's got a motor in, and it's kind of halfway between Niagara Falls and Toronto. It's Big Dick's halfway in. And then it drives past, and there's this sign of just says Big Dick's halfway. So it's all those kind of jokes. But like they'll repeat things and explain things like it's almost outside of, like it's,
yeah.
you know what, it's comedy and comedy about comedy.
I like that.
Shrek's even in it.
Oh, wow.
Like it's, you know what I mean? Like there's one point where he mentions all the different characters in it.
Yeah.
There's a thing of Shrek kind of thing. Like it's quite funny, but it's very juvenile. And that's even the review that I read said like it
was juvenile.
It's juvenile and crass. And one of the warnings I think is crass.
Crass.
But I tell you what, like he does add to his credit. I will say this because one of the characters he plays in there is an Australian media mogul.
Yeah.
And his Australian accent is probably the best one that I've heard.
It's not bad, eh?
From an American.
Yeah.
And it's not, oh, you drongo, or throw another shrimp on the barbie.
Yeah.
He even says it at one time, oh, I was munted. But yeah, like it's pretty good. Like it's like he got the slang. He got everything, and it's a decent attempt at an Aussie accent. Like it's not the parody that you come to expect on every other American show. And part of me thinks, is that because he's Canadian?
I think he's just got a great ear.
Yeah, he's probably got a great... Because I got to say, he was one of my favourites from that era of Saturday Night Live. And I'd say, even if the movies are, like, juvenile-y, like, his character work and
so
all that
funny.
stuff is great.
And he was a great leading man.
There's this... Yeah, he was. There's a scene in this one where and it's another classic thing, like, he's trying to go through a space without being detected, and it's just the way he's...
Yeah.
Like, he's just got that funny walk. He does physical comedy pretty well,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, no, I liked it. Like, it's stupid. It's not going to change your life. You're not going to be like, oh, my God, this is the next.
They kind of had to be all-rounders back then, eh? Like, you had to be able to act and do the character, do the stand-up, be the writer. You got to sing.
Yeah.
Like, there was so much involved in being a comedian
One of my favourite
back then.
sketches.
You can kind of be specific. It's more like about being specific these days.
Yeah, well, I still feel back in those days they did push people to, like, Chris Rock used to do the Weekend Update. So I felt like they put, well, definitely back around that era. And so Michael Che did it as well. And I feel like they put the strongest stand-ups in that spot because that's more of a monologue to camera.
That makes sense.
You know, Tina Fey, she did it with Fallon, didn't she?
I think so.
But theirs was more of a double back and forth banter, news-esque, whereas Chris Rock was just doing monologue. Chris Rock is, what do you think, Chris? And then he's just straight down the barrel like he's doing it on stage.
Yeah. That's true. So they just found what they were good at.
Have you seen Lethal Weapon 4?
No.
Chris Rock's in that.
Yeah.
And there's a part where he has a scene with Joe Pesci, and he essentially breaks off and starts to stand up in there. It's something about they fuck you with the cell phones, and then he's doing all these big act outs and all this kind of stuff. Like it's written in the script and it fits, but because it's him delivering it, it just sounds like his stand up. And probably when he was shooting it, he was probably like, "Oh, this bit's easy for me to do. I can just do this as myself."
Yeah,
you know, like it was just yeah. Yeah, I feel like that era was, you know, those guys, Chris Farley.
Yeah.
Did you ever see the Chris Farley show?
No.
Oh, that was so funny.
I just saw him in other stuff.
It was a recurring sketch on Saturday Night Live, and
Oh wait, maybe I did see it.
he was a bad interviewer though. Like that was the thing. He'd had Jeff Daniels on. He's like, "You did the Purple Rose of Cairo," and he's like, "Yeah," and he goes, "You know that scene when like this happened and it was all black and white, and then this happened and then it was in color," and he's like, "Yeah," and he goes, "That was really cool." Like the whole thing is just, do you remember?
That's so good.
Do you remember in? Yeah, it's really good. And he's like, "I hate this part." He's like, "No, you're doing good." It's really funny. He just plays that awkward kind of host really well. Yeah. All right. So what was next week's show? Oh, hang on. We don't get a veto, do we? So we're still on 2-1.
No, yeah, I didn't. I definitely wasn't.
I feel like we're 14 episodes into this whole veto system that we thought up at the start that was kind of, we'll turn it around and we'll force each other to watch shows. And none of us have even gotten there yet.
Well, it's very early days, Samuel.
That's true. We will get there.
I'm saving them for something real fucked.
But how do you know? Like, because if I had one, I mean, how many shows have we watched? That's an interesting question.
Oh, yeah. Good point.
Like,
a lot.
I probably would have vetoed a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I've watched a lot of shows, and so have you. Like, for the first 7 episodes, we had 3 each, so that's 21.
I'm saving it for some subtitles.
It's about 28 shows, I think.
Woo!
We've done. Like, if you account this, up to 14.
Yeah, and like probably like 3 episodes minimum on those.
Yeah, most of them.
So that's so much TV.
And some of them, honestly, I can't even remember.
No,
like
same.
But I do remember the ones that I enjoyed, or, like Dead to Me, Good Girls.
Yeah. Mum.
Yeah, no, like, those ones. But like,
yeah, I remember the ones I hated.
There's been too many.
Yeah.
All right, off the top of your head, what would be your least favourite one?
Still Emily in Paris.
Still? Really?
Yes.
See, now I'd put mine as one of the cop ones. Though I'm sure if I listened to the
SWAT.
episodes.
SWAT was really bad.
Oh, did you know there's a spin-off of SWAT?
No.
I was looking for something else on Netflix the other night, and I typed in SW. I can't remember what I was looking for. And then there was a SWAT spin-off there, and I was like, you got to be kidding me.
Oh.
So there's the original SWAT, and then there's SWAT something else. Like, whatever.
LA's Finest, that was horrible.
Yeah, that was bad. Well,
Just reliving it in my head.
do you want to know what we're in for next week?
I do.
It's a show called Bling Empire.
Bling Empire.
So it feels like we're in the reality.
Is that a reality? Yeah.
Yeah, we're in the reality TV stretch at the moment.
I like the name.
Yeah, it sounds good. Hang on, I think it's
Have you got the blurb there?
I didn't pull it up. Oh, there you go. Oh, you got it. Good stuff. Follow LA's wildly wealthy Asian and American fun seekers as they go all out with fabulous parties, glamour, and drama in this reality series.
Ooh.
There you go. All right. That one was for you, Alex. Yeah, so we should get onto that. And what do you reckon?
I reckon I'm going to really like this show.
What, the next one?
Yeah.
All right, well, let's look forward to that then. All right, and we'll catch us next time.
Yeah, sounds good.
See ya.
Bye.